Good morning, friends. We are back with our topic of rotational dynamics. See, today we will be doing the two important derivations. One is the parallel axis theorem and other is the perpendicular axis theorem. Both these theorems are used for finding the moment of inertia of a body. Now, before I move on to the topic, I will make two things clear. One is the center of mass. So, center of mass can be defined as a point where the whole mass of body is supposed to be concentrated. Take one example, this uniform scale. Okay, there is one point in this scale where the whole mass of body is supposed to be concentrated. How will I find it? Simply balance on a finger. At one point, the scale gets balanced. That point is the point of center of mass. Now, what's the specialty of center of mass? If I apply force at the center of mass, the body will move in a straight line. The body moves in a straight line and obeys Newton's laws of motion. That is the significance of center of mass. For a disc, uniform disc, the center of mass is exactly at the center. For a rectangular book, okay, if I draw two diagonals, where they intersect, that point will be the center of mass. The second topic is about integration. Integration can be done on the terms which are integrable. Do you understand? Now, in my last lecture I told you that if the mass is distributed in a uniform manner such that it can be integrable, then by using the formula integration of r square dm, I will be able to find the moment of inertia of the body. Now, with one small example, I am explaining you on the board how we can find the moment of inertia of an integrable distribution of mass. Okay. Now look at the board. There is a ring, uniform ring, okay, of radius r, and in this ring is made up of large number of small elements, each of mass what? Dm. Each of mass dm. Now, if I want to find moment of inertia, okay, of mass dm, what will I write? I will write, as you remember the formula for the definition of moment of inertia, square of distance from the axis of rotation multiplied by the mass. So it will be written as simply r square dm. Okay, r square is the distance and dm is the mass of that element. This will give you the moment of inertia of the mass dm at a distance r from the axis of rotation. Similarly, if anyone asks me find the moment of inertia of the complete ring, what will I do? I will integrate r square dm. Why we integrate? Because I will add all the moment of inertia due to all the small elements. And when you integrate this, okay, integration of r square dm gives out to be m r square. Okay, m r square. Actually, I should take capital R here, so don't get confused over here. Or I will write here, see, r square dm, r is constant and integration of dm is the total mass of the ring, and it will be r square into m, or simply m r square, right? This is the way we integrate. We first find moment of inertia for a small element, and then for the complete body we have to integrate, right? So this concept you remember, it will be helpful in the next derivation. Now let's talk about the parallel axis theorem. Look here. Suppose this is any body, okay, and I want to find the axis of rotation about a certain axis. Okay, I have taken any point and I have to find the moment of inertia about this axis of rotation. I repeat, there is an irregular body of any shape, and this is the axis of rotation, and I want to find moment of inertia about the axis of rotation. Then, according to parallel axis theorem, you have to do one thing. You have to pass one more axis through a center of mass, okay, and find moment of inertia about this axis. That I call it as IC, and this axis, the moment of inertia about this axis O, is called as IO. So I have put one more axis which is parallel to the earlier axis, and this is passing through what? Center of mass, which I already told you what is center of mass, right? Now we have got two axes. and the distance between the two axes, parallel axes, is h. What? The distance between the two parallel axes is h. And the formula for parallel axis theorem will give you that moment of inertia about any axis of rotation passing through any point will be equal to the sum of moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through center of mass and the product of mass of the body and square of the distance between the two parallel axes. In short, I'll refer a diagram and tell you IO equal to IC plus MH square. What did I say? IO will be equal to IC plus MH square. Now just have a look at the board and understand the terms. There is an irregular body, okay, and this is the axis of rotation passing through point O, and I would find value of IO, correct? Now what I do, I draw another axis passing through center of mass, I call it as IC, okay, and the distance between the two parallel axes is H. H stands for the distance between the two parallel axes, okay. Now how we proceed with the derivation? See, I have taken a small element of mass dm at point P, okay. Now I join the lines CP and OP, okay. From point O I draw a line to P, and from point C also I draw a line to P. Not only that, I extend OC up to point D and drop a perpendicular from point P on D, okay. So what the diagram which you see here is that of a right angle triangle, okay, OPD or CPD. This you understand first, okay. These things I have drawn on the board. There are two axes passing through point O and C. This is a small element dm at point P, and I have joined OP and CP, and OC is a distance between the two axes which is h, and I have extended OC up to point D and dropped a perpendicular, right? Now see, I want to find moment of inertia of this mass element of small element dm from axis of rotation passing through point O. About this axis, okay, IO, I want to find the moment of inertia of mass dm. By using the formula for moment of inertia, I'll write OP square dm. Is it right? OP square dm will give you the moment of inertia of the small element dm about axis O passing through O. Now if I want to find moment of inertia of complete body about axis passing through O, I'll write IO equal to integration of OP square dm, right? On a similar basis, I will write moment of inertia of dm about axis passing through point C, okay, and that can be written as Cp square dm, and moment of inertia of complete body with axis passing through what? Passing through C will be integration of Cp square dm, or this I'll write as IC equal to integration of Cp square dm. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Is it clear? Now look at the diagram. It's a right angle triangle. In this right angle triangle, okay, in triangle OPD, using Pythagoras theorem, I'll write OP square equal to OD square plus DP square. But OD is made up of what? OC plus CD, the whole square, plus DP square, or OP square will be OC square plus 2OC CD plus CD square plus DP square plus what? DP square. Now just have a look at CD and DP, okay. CD square plus DP square will give you Cp square, again by Pythagoras theorem. So what I get is OP square equal to OC square plus 2OC CD plus Cp square plus Cp square. Is this clear? Okay. Now what I do, I multiply throughout by dm and integrate it. What? I'll do integration on the whole equation. What I get is integration of OP square dm, integration of OC square dm plus integration of 2OC CD dm plus integration of CP square dm. Okay. Now one thing you see in the diagram, you can say OC is a constant and that constant has got what value? H. Okay. So this formula will further change to OP square dm equal to OC is what? H, which is constant. So H square integration of dm plus 2H integration of CD dm plus integration of CP square dm. Right? We get this part of the expression. Now we'll move forward. Now, from equation 1 and 2, equation 1 tells you that integration of OP square dm is IO and integration of CP square dm is IC. So I'll write directly IO equal to H square integration of dm plus 2H integration of CD dm plus IC square. Now, integration of CD dm gives you 0 because the line CD passes through center of mass and moment of inertia about axis passing through center of mass is 0. So this term becomes 0. What remains is IO equal to H square integration of dm plus IC square. Now when you integrate dm is a small element in the body. When you integrate it, you will get the total mass of the object, and so this expression becomes where m is the total mass of the object, or finally I'll write IO equal to IC plus mH square, which is our required expression. IO is the moment of inertia about axis passing through any point, and it is equal to the moment of inertia about a parallel axis passing through center of mass, and it's a sum of what IC and product of total mass of the body and square of the distance between the two parallel axes. So this is our parallel axis theorem.